Hey, hold on a second.
Back! Back!
Are you ready to hear about a game? Whoa! A game that will let you command an army of beasts, both small and large, galloping out of your wildest dreams or crawling through your worst nightmares? Seriously?
What's the problem?
You know I'm scared of bears. Dial in then, because today, we're talking about impossible creatures. Developed by Relic Entertainment in 2003, Impossible Creatures was based off the classic H.G. Wells novel, The Island of Dr. Moreau. Inspired by the story's science fiction concepts, it allows players to mix and match animals together to create some insane combinations. Ever want to mix Mudang with Nala? Well, it's definitely not as cute as you might think, but it's a great late game unit to hunt down your opponents in a pack. How about transmuting a porcupine with an eagle? Because the last thing people want to see chasing them down from the skies is a needle nugget swooping in to pop off on them like a spike grenade. From mammals to avians, amphibians, fish, reptiles, and invertebrates, the game features a factually ridiculous amount of options. Not including mods, Impossible Creatures has nearly 3,000 combinations you can choose from. And when you do include mods, that number goes up exponentially. A lot of the game is really about what you can come up with. Following the classic RTS format, Impossible Creatures includes a campaign mode, a player versus computer option, and multiplayer. The simplest to explain is, of course, PvC. There's only one game mode, Destroy Enemy Lab, where you'll command your armies to conquer your enemy's research building. You can overwhelm them from the skies, overrun them from the land, or outmaneuver them from the seas. But to do so, you'll need to carefully balance your offensive and defensive strategies as you build up your resources to advance through the tech tiers and give life to new units. There are 7 pre-made custom armies and 6 pre-made existing forces based on eccentric characters from the campaign.
I used to be a mad veterinarian, but then I found all the big money was in world-conquering evil plots.
You can use these presets as a way of getting a feel for the game, but ultimately, both in PvC and PvP, you want to fashion and formulate your own crazy, twisted, horrific monstrosities that support whatever strategy you come up with. You can only have 9 creatures in your repertoire, so choose carefully. You don't want to make an army comprising only of higher tier units, because depending on the AI's difficulty or your opponent's skills, you might not make it that far. And without any lower tier units to scout, harass, or blockade your enemies, you're about as likely to survive as the dinosaurs were in their war against aliens, meteors, and nature itself, one of which you're actually up against. Moving on to the PvP, there are 3 game modes. Besides the aforementioned Destroy Enemy Lab, there's Destroy Enemy Base, where every building must be eliminated to secure victory, which can allow you or other competitors the ability to diversify your positions on the map in the hopes of making a comeback. But in my experience, once someone begins snowballing, it's going to be next to impossible to re-establish your dominance. Then there's my favorite game mode. Much like Age of Empires 2, it's Regicide, or as the game calls it, Hunt Rex. You take control of the main character from the campaign and hide for dear life, all the while seeking out your opponent's Rex and trying to take him down. Make no mistake though, Rex's chance is no pushover. He can't attack buildings or other humans, but for those who assault him, they'll be contending with his Poison Touch ability, which eventually kills off anything that touches him, while he heals off the damage with his innate regeneration. He can use his Neurotoxin shot to down approximately anything tier 3 or lower, and his passive Pack Hunter power can up the damage of creatures around him. A quick note, if you want to play in multiplayer, my experience is that you'll need to make an Impossible Creatures account. But after a quick email confirmation and a few minutes of waiting, you should be good to go. I tested this in 2024 and it still works, but who knows for how long? Because Relic Entertainment no longer owns the rights to the game. Those are in the hands of the consistently bankrupt THQ Nordic. Here's some trivia for you. Relic Entertainment released Impossible Creatures in 2003 with Microsoft Game Studios being their publisher, but Relic was bought up by THQ in 2004. Relic was later auctioned off to Sega, but by the time THQ tried to release the game on Steam in 2015, they found out they didn't actually own the rights. They went to Microsoft to negotiate, who also realized they didn't own anything. Because their acquisition wasn't retroactive, THQ didn't gain any of the rights over Relic's previous title. So, they had to reach out to Relic, and one of the most bizarre things happened. Relic and Sega gave up their rights for free. You'd think they'd ask for some level of compensation, but no. It may have had to do with the fact that Relic had lost many of the game's original files, and didn't have the same team present to assist in remaking it. The latest version of the game's source code, responsible for the development of the game's Insect Invasion DLC, was just gone. But THQ received the 1.0 release and was determined to see their project through. They hired one whole guy to work on putting the game back together. Wojciech Kupnov.
Wojciecha Knopfa.
But THQ was still worried that their multiplayer experience would suffer. So, they brought in a group of modders that had kept the game's community alive, which was none other than the team responsible for the Tellurian mod. Now, admittedly, I don't know just how much the mod team was involved, but from the few resources I've been able to scrounge up, it's clear they swooped in to save the day. And with that, the game was finally released on Steam. Let's have a moment of cheer celebrating those dedicated fans that vivisected the game so it could stand on 8 legs once again. Congratulations, you've earned it. Now about the campaign, I'll be light on the spoilers. I just wanted to share some of my reactions.
Dude, Rex looks like someone out of the Mandela catalogs.
Hide the TVs.
I surrender. Please, don't let your creatures eat me.
Give us some of your fuel and I won't let them hurt you.
And what if he doesn't give you fuel, Rex?
Huh? I've got one of those things after me.
Oh, come on, really?
What? They're just fish. Does this happen often?
This thing crashes more than my laptop does.
To summarize the gameplay, you'll take on the role of Rex Chance, tranquilizing different animals across 15 missions to collect their DNA and bolster your access to new ones. All the while combating miscreants and scoundrels who want to capture you for their own nefarious research. Just remember, Rex, you're so much greater than the world has let you know. However, while you can access the campaign from the base game, if you boot it up with the Insect Invasion DLC, it'll be gone. So just keep that in mind when looking through your options. Which, incidentally, brings me to the mods. My top picks are, of course, the Tellurian mod and its sibling mod, the Tellurian Campaign, which reworks the campaign for an even tougher experience and allows you to turn energy into coal. Trust me, that's relevant for a faster game speed. And that's not all the Tellurian mod changes. It also adds a huge host of new creatures, rebalances the game, brings in new abilities, adds new maps, increases the population cap, gives new options for the AI difficulties, donates new armies for you to play with, and makes all of this available to you in multiplayer. What can I say? These modders really love the game. I also recommend Nibbling Monsters and LB Frank's map packs, just in case you want some more options. And my favorite is the unbalanced, yet extremely fun Finally, let's praise the voice acting and sound design. They went for a rugged feel with Rex and an intelligent voice for Lucy.
Fast, aggressive tactics will throw your opponent off guard.
Balance is the key to versatility, and versatility will allow you to be prepared for anything.
Chose whimsical accents for the villains.
Huh? What's going on here?
There's a penalty for being a traitor where I come from. Death.
An authoritative and evil presence with the BBEG Julius.
It is necessary to maintain the status quo for the wealthy and privileged. They would not be where they are if they did not deserve it.
And just outright made the henchman goofy.
Listen, I'm just a hired thug. Go easy on my lab, will ya?
With all that said, thanks for calling in and exploring this topic with me. I love impossible creatures and highly recommend it. You can buy it cheaply on Steam and GOG. So, what are you waiting for? A world filled with your greatest imaginations and wackiest terrors is just around the river.